Welcome to Simplified Maths class. Today we are going straight to exponential equations after we have studied indices before now. So we are going straight to exponential equation, or we call them indicinal equations. And here we'll be having equations that are expressed in powers. That's why they are exponential equations. So they have exponents. Alright, so without waste of time, we are going straight to the videos. Alright, so we have the first one, find the value of x given that 2x is equals to 32. That's number one, I. So we want to find the value of x. So we have 2x is equals to 32. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do here is to express 32, alright, in the form of a base, 2 raised to by a particular thing. Okay, so we know that 32 will be 2 raised to the power of a particular number that will give us 32, and that will be 2 raised to the power of 5. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 will give us 32. So at this point, the basis 2 will cross. It means our x will just be 5, and that's all. So we are done with number 1. So the next one, number 2, we have 3 raised to the power of 2x minus 1 is equals to 1 all over 81. Alright, so we are going to have 3 raised to the power of 2x minus 1 will be equals to 1 all over. So we have 81. Definitely will have a base that will raise to a power to give 81. And that will be 3 raised to the power of 4. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 into 4 places will give you 81. So at this point, you're going to have 3 into 2x minus 1 will be equals to, alright, 1 all over 3 raised to the power of 4 is 3 raised to the power of minus 4, according to one of the laws of indices, which we have studied before now. Alright, so 1 all over 3 raised to the power 4 is 3 raised to the power minus 4. This minus is what becomes 1 all over 3 raised to the power of 4. So this is how it is expressed. So at this point, the base will cross out. So you're going to have 2x minus 1 to be equals to minus 4. 2x will be equals to minus 4. Minus 1 crosses to be plus 1. So 2x will be equals to minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. Therefore, x will be minus 3 all over 2. So that will be the value of x, minus 3 all over 2. So we are done with this. We are taking the third one, I. Still exponential equations. In the third one, we have 5 raised to the power of x squared plus 3x is equals to 625. Alright? So this is an exponential equation. They still want us to find the value of x. So we're going to have 5 raised to the power of x squared plus 3x will be equals to 625 will still be the base 5 raised to the power of a particular power, and that will be 4. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 into 4 places will give us back 625. So at this point, the basis crosses. So we have x squared plus 3x is equals to 4. X squared plus 3x, 4 will cross to be minus 4 is equals to 0. So at this point, you have a quadratic equation. Thank God we have learned quadratic equations before now. So at this point, what do? We factorize. So in factorization, we are looking for two numbers whose sum will give us 3 and whose product will give us minus 4. And whose sum will give us 3 and definitely the two numbers will be 4 and a negative 1. Alright, so 4 added to negative 1 will give us positive 3. But 4 multiplied by negative 1 will give us negative 4. So the two numbers that will satisfy this quadratic equation is 4 and minus 1. So we are going to have x squared. We'll split this into those two numbers. 4x before minus 1, minus 1x. Alright, then before minus 4 is equals to 0. So we are split into, if you don't understand what I mean by minus x, it's still minus 1x, alright? 1 in front of x means that it's still x. So we have split 3x to the two numbers 4 and minus 1. That's why you have 4x and minus 1x. So at this point, we can factorize. So here, x is common. I pick x out. If I take out 1x, I still have 1x left. If I have taken x here, I have left. So I factorize these two. X times x will give me x squared. X times 4 will give me 4x. So I look at this also and factor out. So the common factor is minus 1. So I pick minus 1 out and copy this bracket, x plus 4. The brackets must always be the same. We have already done factorization. So minus 1 times x will give us minus 1x. Minus 1 times 4 will give us minus 4. So at this point now, since the two brackets are the same, we'll pick it as 1. While we term as 1. So we're having x minus 1 and then x plus 4 all equals to 0. If x minus 1 is 0, x will be equals to minus 1 crosses to be plus 1. Here, if x plus 4 is equals to 0, x will be equals to plus 4 crosses to be minus 4. Therefore, x will be either 1 or minus 4. Therefore, it means that x has to be 1 or minus 4 to satisfy these exponential equations. So we are done with number 3. So this is an exponential equation that has led us to a quadratic equation. So we'll take the next one. So in our next one, we still have another exponential equation that will still lead us to a quadratic equation. Right? So we have number 4. Or was it? Okay, this one was so number 4. Alright, so this is just 27 raised to the power of x minus 3 will be equals to 3 into 9x minus 2. Alright, so here at this point, we'll have to take note that this 3 is being multiplied by this. Please take note. So we are going to have 27, which of course 27 is 3 raised to the power of 3. 3 raised to power 3 will give us 27. Alright, so we still have x minus 3. While here, this is 3 raised to the power of 1 being multiplied by, alright, 9 here is 3 raised to power 2 into x minus 2. Please take note of this. 27 is 3 raised to power 3. We'll still have this term. Here, 3 itself is 3 raised to the power of 1 because it's being multiplied by this. That's why you have this dot, meaning multiplication. Alright, so 9 here is 3 raised to power 2 before this term. So we are going to have 3 raised to the power of 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times 3 is 9 is equals to 3 raised to the power of 1 being multiplied by 3 raised to the power of 2 times x is 2x minus 2 times 2 is 4. So at this point here, we are going to apply the first law of indices that tells you that a raised to the power m plus a raised times a raised to power n is equals to a raised to power n plus n. So here, because the 3 are the same, we are going to add the powers. So we are going to have 3 raised to the power of 3x minus 9 is equals to 3 raised to the power of 3. 3 will be taken as 1. 1 plus, we add this other factor, 2x minus 4. So we are adding this to this and maintain 1, 3. So at this point, we are going to have 3 raised to the power of 3x minus 9 is equals to 3 raised to the power of 2x. We have 2x here. 1 minus 4 will give us minus 3. As simple as that. So at this point, x crosses x. So we are going to have 3x minus 9 is equals to 2x minus 3. We'll collect like terms. So we have 3x. This plus 2x will cross to be a negative 2x. Is equals to what we have here is minus 3. Whereas this minus 9 will cross to be plus 9. So at this point, 3x minus 2x will give us only 1x. Minus 3 plus 9 will give us 6. So the value of x equals 6. As simple as that. So simple. Alright, so we are going to go straight to number 5, which is that. So number 5 will have to be an exponential equation that will lead us to a simultaneous equation. Please watch. So we are taking number 5. So we have 25 raised to the power of x all over 625 raised to the power of x plus y will be equals to 25. Of course, this is equation 1. Alright, so we have the next one, x plus 8y is equals to 0. And that's equation 2. So let's first simplify equation 1. So let us simplify equation 1. We'll be having 25 raised to power x. Alright, so 25 itself raised to power x is 5 raised to power 2x. While 25 is 5 raised to power 2 before the x. All over, while 625 is 5 raised to the power of 4. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 raised to power 4 will give you 625 before the what? X plus y. All equals to 25 here, which is 5 raised to the power of what? 2. 35 is 5 raised to power 2, 5 times 5. So at this point where we have division here, this divided by this, alright, we are going to apply the second law of indices. So we are going to have 5 raised to power 2x all over 5 raised to the power of 4 times x is 4x plus 4 times y is 4y. Take note of that. So this is equals to 5 raised to power 2. At this point, we'll apply the law of indices that tells you that a raised to power m divided by a raised to power n will be a raised to power m minus n. So this and this will be taken as 1, 5. So here we are going to have 2x. Division here is minus, and then what do we have down here? 4x plus 4y. So simple, all right? So this 5 and this 5 is taken as 1. 2x is here. Division means minus, then this. So this will be equal to 5 raised to power 2. At this point, the basis crosses out. So you're going to have 2x. Minus will affect 4x. Minus will affect 4y is equals to 2. Alright, so at this point, 2x minus 4x will give us a negative 2x. Here will become a negative 4y is equals to a positive 2. Alright, so if we divide through by minus 1, alright, if we divide through by minus 1, minus will cancel here. It means that 2x, here minus will cross, will give us 4y. Here minus will be introduced, minus 2. So we've had an equation here. Take note of this. So this is the simplified version of equation 1. The simplified version of equation 1. Please take note of that. So we now have the simplified version of equation 1. So we can now bring out equation 1 and equation 2 to solve simultaneously. So the simplified version of equation 1 is 2x plus 4y is equals to minus 2. That was equation 1. And then the previous equation 2 was x plus 8y is equals to 0. This is equation 2. At this point, we can apply elimination method. To eliminate x, we are going to use 1 to times this equation and use this 2 to times this equation. Alright, so if you want to learn about simultaneous equation, you can search my video, simultaneous equation, substitution and elimination methods, and study further. So at this point, 1 will times this. So we are going to have 2x plus 4y is equals to minus 2. Because 1 will times the whole of this, so nothing will change. While 2 will times this equation. 2 times x will give us 2x plus 2 times 8 will give us 16y. 2 times 0 will give us 0. So at this point, when we subtract the two equations, we are going to be eliminating x. So 4 minus 16. 4 minus 16, that will be minus 12. Minus 12y is equals to minus 2 minus 0 will give us minus 2. Alright, so that y will be equals to minus 2 all over minus 12. And of course, minus crosses. Y will be equals to 2 here 1, 2 here 6. It therefore means that y is equals to 6. So we can substitute y is equals to 6 into any of these two equations. So I substitute y is equals to minus 1 over 6 into equation 2. So in our equation 2, we have that x plus 8y is 0. X plus 8y is equals to 0. X plus 8 into y has been calculated as 1 over 6. 1 over 6 is equals to 0. Alright? So at this point, 8 times 1 is 8 over 6 is equals to 0. So we can just complete it here. Alright, so 8 times 1 is 8 over 6. So that gives us 0. So we can cross that. X will be equals to plus 8 over 6 will cross to be equals to minus 8 all over 6. We reduce to the lowest term. Alright, so that will be minus 2 here, 4. 2 here, 3. It therefore means that we've been able to compute the value of x to be minus 4 over 3 and the value of y to be what? 1 over 6. Alright, so those are the values of x and y. Alright, the values of x and y in the exponential equation, which is this. So notice that that exponential equation is an exponential equation that has two unknown, and so they must be solved simultaneously. Alright, so we are taking the last one, which is this. This is an exponential equation that will also lead us to a quadratic equation. So it means you have to have idea about quadratic equation in order to successfully solve it. And so, like I said, I have a video on quadratic equation using all the four methods, so you can still refer to them. So here, number 6, we have that 3 raised to power 2x plus 1 minus 4 into 3 raised to power x plus 1 is equals to 0. Alright, so here what you need to do is, there's something hidden here, all right? Plus meaning there's a time. So here is 3 raised to power 2x. Please take note of that. Times 3 raised to the power of 1. This is what it means, because by law of indices number 1, 3 and 3 will be taken as 1. 2x will be added to this 1. So that's what is coded here. So you separate the 3 raised to power 2x times 3 raised to power 1. That's what is hidden there. Minus 4 into 3 raised to power x plus 1 is 0. So at this point, 3 raised to power 1 is 3. It can come in front. So that will be 3 itself being multiplied by 3. So this 3 raised to power 2x is what you have here. Alright, so the 3 raised to power 1 here is 3. It comes forward. Alright, minus 4 into 3 raised to power x plus 1 is equals to 0. So at this point, you see that there's 3 raised to power x here. Therefore, means there's 3 raised to power x here. So you're going to have 3 into 3 raised to power x. Alright, 3 raised to power x, but there is still a 2 there. So I put the 2 here out. 2 times x will give back this 2x. I'm trying to get somewhere. Minus 4 into 3 raised to power x plus 1 is equals to 0. Alright, so take note of that. Now, at this point now, 3 will be 3. We will say anywhere we see 3 raised to power x, let it represent something else. Let's say p, very important, or y. Anywhere we see 3 raised to power x, let it represent p, or you can say let it represent y. So it means here I have 3. Alright, so 3 raised to power x here will represent p. While I have 2 here, which is squared, becomes 3p squared. Minus 4 into 3 raised to power x will become p. Plus 1 is equals to 0. Wow. So at this point, I have a quadratic equation that I need to do what? To factorize. Very simple. So I want to factorize 3p squared minus 4p plus 1 is equals to 0. How do you factorize? So 3 here times 1 will give me 3. It therefore means that I'm looking for two numbers such that when I sum them together, I will have minus 4. And when I multiply them, I will have positive 3. So those two numbers will be minus 3 and minus 1. Yes, minus 3 minus 1. So minus 3 minus 1 will give me minus 4. But minus 3 times minus 1 will give me the 3. Remember, I multiplied 3 times 1 to give me 3. This 3 times 1 here will give me 3. So I'm looking for two numbers whose sum will give me minus 4 and whose product will give me that 3. And the only two numbers are minus 3 and minus 1 because their sum will give minus 4, their product will give the 3. Alright, so I'm going to have 3p squared. I'll split them into those two numbers. Minus 3p, alright, before minus 1p. Minus 3p minus 1p will give me minus 4p. Before plus 1 is equals to 0. So I factorize these two. 3p is common to these two terms. So I have 3p into. If you remove 3p, 1p is left. If you remove 3p, only 1 is left. So 3p times p will give me 3p squared. 3p times minus 1 will give me minus 3p. Alright, so I factor these two out. What will be common? Only minus 1 will be common. I copy this bracket, p minus 1. I've told you the bracket will always be the same. So minus 1 times p will give me minus 1p. Minus 1 times minus 1 will give me plus 1. So at this point, I have two brackets that are the same. I pick the outside. So I have the 3p minus 1. 3p minus 1 equals 0. And I also have one of the brackets, which is p minus 1 is equals to 0. Please take note, if 3p minus 1 is 0, 3p minus 1 will cross to be 1. Therefore, p will be 1 all over 3. Take note of that. But here, if p minus 1 is 0, p will be equals to minus 1 crosses to be 1. So we have gotten the values of p to be 1 over 3 and 1. But the question did not say we should find the value of p. Rather, they say we should find the value of x. Remember that 3 raised to power x will give us p. Now we have gotten p, so it means we can get x. As simple as that. So at this point, now we said, but 3 raised to power x gave us p. It means that 3 raised to power x will give us p. The value of p is 1 all over 3. At the same time, 3 raised to power x will give us p. The value of p now is 1. Very simple. Alright, so at this point, 3 raised to power x will be equals to 1 over 3 means 3 raised to power minus 1 by one of the laws of indices. I've been explaining that. So at this point, x3 cancels 3. X will be equals to minus 1. Whereas here, 3 raised to power x is equals to 1. 1 itself is 3 raised to power 0 because anything you raise to the power of 0, according to one of the laws of indices, it gives you 1. So 3 raised to power 0 gives you 1. 3 crosses 3, our x is equals to 0. Therefore, we've been able to compute x to be minus 1 or 0. So take note of that. So it therefore means at the end of the day, we've been able to solve this very last exponential equation that leads to quadratic equation, and the value of x is either minus 1 or 0. Thank you for watching our series, Exponential Equations. Please don't forget to give us a thumbnail and then to also subscribe to this video, because we have so many exciting videos that are coming in mathematics and you would not want to miss out. God bless you and see you in the next slide. Cheers.